I left veterinary medicine to become a full-time financial advisor. This was probably the most difficult decision I had to make in my entire life, and in today's video I'm going to share my thought process as to why I made such a radical career switch, because I know that I would likely receive a lot of questions as to why I would leave a high in demand, honourable, potentially lucrative career for an unpredictable, challenging and often criticized profession. Now I suppose the best way to explain this unconventional move is to start at the beginning. I grew up in a humble family of hardworking and high-achieving individuals. My parents worked their fingers to the bone to provide the best possible future and upbringing for their children. I am the youngest of four, with my eldest brother being a human anesthesiologist, my second eldest brother being a chartered accountant, and my sister a doctor, currently specializing in becoming a medical geneticist. My siblings have always inspired me to achieve my utmost best, and as such, at the end of matric, I placed second in the Northwest Province with 9 distinctions and an average of 94.6%. I finished high school on a high note and was faced with a very important life decision. Should I study actuarial science or veterinary science? It's both quite funny and ridiculous that when you are in matric at the age of 18, we need to make a career decision that will impact us for the rest of our lives, whilst at the same time, we also need to still ask permission to go to the bathroom. Like, how does that even make sense? Anyway, I basically grew up on a farm and I've always loved helping animals, especially those that can't help themselves. I remember picking up a dead chick that fell out of its nest when I was probably around 5 years old and praying for hours and hours on end for it to revive, but to no avail. I loved working on a farm alongside my other siblings and my father, and created awesome memories playing with other kids on the farm that I still cherish to this day. On the other hand, I also had a strong interest and aptitude in working with numbers, and combining that with my upbringing where we were taught to live frugally and spend our hard-earned money wisely, I also saw myself pursuing a career in the finance industry. Now, as you probably already know, veterinary science and actuarial science are careers on both ends of the spectrum, meaning they are not closely related. I decided to go for veterinary science because I saw it as the biggest challenge to complete, especially since it is extremely difficult to get accepted into. Now, I thoroughly enjoyed my 6 years of studies, and although it was a grind to learn massive amounts of theory, I participated in many initiatives and committees which allowed me to travel to 16 different countries around the world and meet awesome people from different cultures, religions, backgrounds, and ethnicities. I had so much fun being a student, and although I should have probably studied a bit harder, I still passed, and now I have a whole collection of adventures in my memories which I can revisit over and over again. So up until the point of my graduation from university, I thought that I was on the right path. I completed a tough degree, had great experiences along the way, and was now ready to face the workforce. Veterinarians are in very high demand all over the world due to the increasing demand for pet care and the shortage of vets that are being produced every year. So I was on the right side of the supply versus demand curve. Recruiters from Australia, New Zealand and the UK are constantly trying to poach South African veterinarians with very attractive offers, so it felt like the world was my oyster, so to speak. But as I completed my compulsory community service here in Vereniging, where we basically need to work for the state to provide veterinary services to various local areas in South Africa, I started to feel that something was not right. Whilst my colleagues and friends were enjoying every single second of their work and continued to excel in what they did, I felt disconnected and did not share the same passion to enhance my skills as a veterinarian. It was also during this time that I got married to my beautiful wife, who is also a veterinarian, and after my CCS here, we both joined a private practice where we worked with companion animals, which basically means dogs and cats. We worked with an awesome team, had a great boss, and made good friends with our colleagues that we still have today. It was a busy practice, and I really learned a lot, which helped me solidify my skills as a small animal veterinarian. But again, something was missing. Even though I had everything that I needed to mold me into a good veterinarian, I lacked the passion to pursue it. I created a YouTube channel in a veterinary space where I shared videos on various pet health related topics to help pet owners better understand and help their pets. And through this, I found that I had a hidden passion and a talent for teaching others. And as I tried to navigate the complex world of personal finance by trying to read as many personal finance books as possible in order to improve my own financial literacy, I found that others my age had the same questions and also made similar mistakes. I therefore gravitated towards creating a second YouTube channel, the one you are watching now, where I started sharing everything I knew about personal finance. I spent every single minute that I had creating videos, not because I earned a single cent from it, but because it filled me with so much joy to see that I could actually help someone beyond the constraints of any country borders, time, or affordability. It was a spark that I did not experience in my normal day job as a veterinarian in the consult room, and something that kept me motivated to work 60 hours plus weeks in order to run 2 YouTube channels alongside a full-time job. Now, in the beginning of 2022, my wife and I decided to take a little break from clinical work due to a combination of different factors, with one being our mental health taking a drastic turn for the worst. We packed up our small little apartment, put everything into a storage unit, and embarked on a 4-month journey where we pursued careers in content creation. It was a very important and special time for us, as we had the chance to slow down, sit down, and perform proper introspection to figure out where exactly we want to be in life. We established clear boundaries for how we would like to work in order to avoid burnout, and even though we did take a massive pay cut during this time, it was extremely valuable for us to have a clear picture of where we want to be in 40 years' time. For my wife, it was still being a veterinarian, as she truly loves what she does, but she wanted a much better work-life balance without the stress of having to attend to after-hour emergencies. I, however, did not envision the same picture. I could not imagine myself being a vet in the traditional way for the next couple of decades. The thought did not excite me. In fact, I actually resented it, and therefore I knew that something had to change. Now, our little sabbatical could not last forever, and so we eventually moved to Cape Town and started working as vets again in July 2022. We both locumed, which meant that we could determine our own schedules and test out different practices, and so my wife soon joined a practice as a full-time vet, as they were able to tick all of the boxes that she wanted. I worked at several great practices and came along well with all of my colleagues, and although the flexibility and the higher pay that you get when you locum did enable me to focus more of my time and efforts on my side hustles, the thought of doing this type of work forever kept on nagging me. It wasn't as much as the type of work I had to do, because again, I had great support staff and colleagues who were all very supportive, and the clients were for the most part very friendly and responsible pet owners, but I just felt that I was not playing by my strings and were therefore not living up to my full potential. I truly believe that God has crafted every single one of us in such a way that we can best serve Him, and our job here on earth is to use the talents that He gifted us to embark on the journey to fulfill this very purpose. I realized that I would only be an average vet at best because of the way that my mind is wired and the fact that my passion and interest do not align with those of my peers. And because I'm such a driven and ambitious person, if I know that I'm not living up to my full potential, I fail in my heart, no matter how hard I try. So I started exploring different routes within the veterinary industry to try pivot towards, with the hope of finding something that will require my degree as well as complement my strengths and interests. I applied for several jobs with several different companies, including telemedicine, pet insurance, pharmaceutics, and even content creation gigs, with a nice 100% of them rejecting my applications. I was quite bummed out because I believe that I actually had a pretty impressive CV for someone my age, but turns out there were also dozens others who had the exact same idea. So it was in December of 2022 that I started entertaining the idea of potentially switching careers altogether to become a financial planner. By this time, I had a fairly decent following of over 6,500 subscribers on YouTube and already posted more than 100 videos on various personal finance topics. I saw that there was a massive need in South Africa for financial education, as most personal finance YouTube channels were based either in the American or the UK markets. I also experienced that many people especially young professionals like myself, was making poorly informed financial decisions, which translates to receiving poor financial advice. I was already answering financial related questions every single day from members of my audience, but I knew for certain that I was limited in my ability to truly help others, as I did not have the qualification to give actual financial advice. Now, after a lot of thought, prayer, and consultation with others in the industry, I decided to open another door by continuing my studies towards a certified financial planner in January of this year. I wanted to get my degree and certification as soon as possible, so I started studying full-time through distance learning whilst working part-time as a veterinarian. I thoroughly enjoyed the work and did not really mind studying for the tests, something that I did not experience when studying to become a vet. Every single piece of information that I learned was like a little light bulb that went off in my head, making me feel more fulfilled and empowered to one day help others. So it was then in April of 2023 where I stumbled upon Money Medicine, which is an independent financial advisory firm which focuses on providing high quality independent advice to young professionals, predominantly in the medical industry. They also had a strong focus on financial education to help empower their clients to make informed financial decisions, as opposed to just forcing and selling policies. And after meeting the founders, I resonated deeply with their values and their journeys. Just like me, both of them studied different degrees, worked in their industries for a couple of years, knew that it was not something that they wanted to do, and then took the leap to become successful financial planners. Now, this was a huge sigh of relief for me, as I thought I was the only crazy who spent so much time and money to get a degree, only to gooi a 180 pivot into a new industry. Now, the YouTuber Ali Abdal, who is a medical doctor who quit his job to pursue a career in content creation, introduced many important concepts to my mind, one of which is called the sunk cost fallacy. This is a phenomenon whereby a person is reluctant to abandon a strategy or a course of action because they have already invested heavily into it, when it is clear that abandonment would be more beneficial. When I heard about this phenomenon for the first time, it really struck a chord, as it described the exact problem that I was facing. How could I possibly justify spending almost a decade of my life studying and working towards a career only to abandon it? A career that was in high demand and that would secure a comfortable lifestyle for me and my family. How could I abandon my fellow veterinarians who are already struggling with the strain of not being able to keep up with the workload? Would others understand and respect my decision, or will they think that I'm just being a complete idiot and making a huge mistake? Now, as I was repeatedly asking myself all of these questions, filling my mind with more and more doubt, another question came up. Pieter, what would happen if you don't do it? I'm currently in a position where I don't have any debt or children, so I am able to take on the risk of such a move. And if all fails, I still have my degree and can always go back to being a vet if needed. But this situation might soon change, and once I have more financial responsibilities, I might never be able to switch my careers again. So the consequences of not taking the leap of faith now might mean that I will never ever get the chance again. So I was offered the position of a financial advisor at Money Medicine, and I am proud to say that I am now a registered financial advisor under the FSCA, and that I can now officially give financial advice, but obviously only if I have enough information about a person to perform a detailed financial needs analysis. So what is the future of this channel, and what exactly can you guys expect from me? Well, we have already grown to a strong community of over 12,000 subscribers here on YouTube, 13,000 on TikTok, 4,500 on Instagram, and I'm also on Twitter or X or whatever it is called nowadays, with a measly 230 followers. And yes, if you would like an unbiased, fee-based, independent financial advisor to review your financial portfolio, then you can now officially book an introductory call with me by using the link down in the description. And if you want an idea of what exactly I can offer and potentially help you with, then go and watch my Money Marx money audit series over here. Now, apart from that, You guys can expect many more high quality YouTube videos as well as useful resources and guides that will help you to navigate the complex world of finances and avoid many of the common pitfalls. Trust me, I have now infiltrated the system, so I know how many scams are out there. It has been tough the past couple of months, studying full-time, switching careers, taking another Moorse pay cut, and trying to run all of my different side hustles. But I can tell you this, I am bloody excited to see where this journey will take me, and I am hoping to see many of you along the way. You are all legends, and I truly appreciate every single one of you watching this video all the way to the end. You must have a lekker day. Cheers.